everyone.
Good morning, Reverend Trish.
Yeah. So yeah, before we even go into meditation or everything, because that's the first question most people have been asking me today, I passed. Yeah. And okay, just so that you can have some sort of, I always wonder in life if the person who's in charge of things, were they a C student? Were they, because you pass with C's, but I got straight A's, so, yeah. And I worked hard for them, and I will say thank you, and yes, and I'm glad, and okay, so. All right, speaking of, let's go into that breath and let's move into a time of meditation and relaxation for just a moment, whether you're here in this room or at home. Let's just get comfy where we are, find our space, and move into some sanctuary. Oh, and with that, let's just relax in. If it's comfortable for you to close your eyes, do that. If not, open-eyed is just fine. We breathe in a relaxed way, no forced patterns, no need to breathe deeply or shallowly, just relax. Let's take a moment as we move into this meditative time to kind of check in with our body. Where are we feeling absolutely relaxed already? And where might there be points of tension or points of pain? Something that needs a little more love. Something that needs the recognition or the gratitude of doing such an amazing job while moving through health challenges. Just send some love inside our bodies and some gratitude for the steps, for the muscle movements, for the breaths, for the heartbeats, for the thoughts, for the feelings and senses, all of it. Gratitude that we get to move through life in this way. Gratitude that we have another day on the green side of the grass, as they say. Gratitude that we are here in this space, and that we have this opportunity to open further and learn and grow further. Gratitude. You just take a moment to feel that deeply. What am I most grateful for in this very moment? What rises to the top when I ask you that question? Even if it sounds offhand, just grab onto it for a moment, give it a big hug, and allow it to flow. What am I grateful for in this now moment? I embrace it, I allow it, I give it gratitude, and I let it flow. We have that opportunity in every single moment to pause, to realize, to recognize, and to celebrate. Whatever it might be, so grateful in this moment for it all. Let's just let that gratitude flow around this room for just a moment. Think about the people here. And if you're at home, think about the people that you encounter each day that you are grateful for. That show us that space, as our beloved Carl would say, that in you I see God. In who do you see God? In whom do you celebrate that presence? In what do you feel closest to that Godness and that gratitude for simply drawing breath. Bless you. Those opportunities to allow us to move blessings through when life gives us a sneeze. We give it a bless you with gratitude. Grateful for this moment, and just taking a moment in that energy. Let's just sit in gratitude for a few moments. Let's feel it and allow it in a moment of silence. Gratitude in the silence. And we just let the gratitude land with another breath. And we just feel that it's always here. Whether we're actively sending it out, actively receiving it, it's always right here. Any second of our day, we can pause and say thank you. And feel that gratitude moving through us and into our activities. And so gratefully I say thank you, God, and so it is. Amen. So in May, we're empowering power. Our whole year this year, we're going through Unity's 12 powers. Those of you who are not familiar with those, they are attributes of the divine, attributes of our higher selves, attributes of the allness that we can step into and be. And every month this year, we're stepping into a new one. Now, some people may call that aspects of godness. The word God may make your skin crawl. For some people, that's the way that it is, because often of the way they've grown up, or the choice that in a lot of ways was taken away from them about what God is supposed to be. And as we grow, we get to choose. My God doesn't have a face. My God is not a super old white guy sitting in the clouds, playing with people's lives and manipulating things. My internal, visceral version of what God is the allness of beingness. And because I happen to be stepping into the world of, oh my God, becoming a reverend, committing blasphemy, even thinking about it, that's the word that works for more people than not, and so I use it. But source, creator, divine law, energy, universal law, whatever that might be, please don't let that ick around that word, if you've got it, define what that can be for you. Because, and if the word God doesn't work, when it comes out of my mouth, just replace it with something else. It's the dialect I grew up in, so it's the dialect I use, because it works for me. I grew up in Unity. I've been in Unity since I was 6 years old. And I've misquoted my age and everything, so now let me see. So that's 54 years. Because now I'm 60. I'm 60. I said it right this time. I stood up here when I had lost some weight. I had gotten under 150 pounds, and I was getting ready to be, I'm not there anymore. Didn't stay there. It's a work in progress, and I have a real life, and I love food. And I am not willing to starve myself to become some specific size. I work to be healthy. I work out. I don't go crazy with junk food. And I have a past where I was an emotional eater. And I shouldn't say I have a present where I can be an emotional eater. And if I'm depressed, if I'm overwhelmed, comfort food just feels so good to me. So I'm learning to become friendly with that 5-bite rule thing, where I've heard it in different things, where I can have it, I just won't eat the entire bag of potato chips. I will only eat part of it. Evolution, right? Good luck, yeah. Evolution, right? Hippie. Hi, Hippie. Hippie is not here in person today, but I'm sure we'll see this virtually. Hippie got me an amazing cake, and it's like this big, and I'm supposed to take it home and eat it. And the way that I am, I probably will, so I'll add another pound next week. No. But we have these choices, right? Our choices become our voices, and they become the way we show up in this world. This past week, oh my gosh, it has been a month long for me. I don't know about the rest of you, and a lot of us are heading toward high school graduations. My granddaughter is going to graduate from high school this coming week. I get to go over to West Palm Beach and watch her walk across the stage. And then I believe it's the week after that, or maybe one more week, and then I too will graduate and walk across the stage. So, yes. So, an age is a number, a weight is a number, a thing is a number, all of these choices about where we are in life. I don't know about you guys, but I have been in places so many times where I thought either I had the lesser of two worst choices to choose from, or I didn't have a choice. I just had to do this, whatever it was. And there's been so many opportunities when we step into our power, our divine power, if you will, where we realize that even where it feels like we don't have a choice, we have a choice. Let me share some of this week with you. So our final exams for our ministry ordination happened Monday and Tuesday. And I was in the Tuesday group. And I have a group chat with my group, my cohort of 16, where we're constantly, if something's up for everybody, the thing's going off. I had to ask my daughter, because I'm too old, but I had to ask my daughter, how do you turn off the notifications for this thing because it won't stop? So she taught me. And so Monday, the interviews happened, and people were like, whew, I'm done, all that good stuff. Tuesday morning, some of the results were coming in, and 2 of the 16 that I am in class with received, Tuesday afternoon, some of those came in, and they received the notification they had not passed their final exams. And there is another person that already knew in our cohort that they had not passed and would not be ordained with the rest of the group. So that was 3 of the 16 that at that point we weren't sure what was happening. So the 2 that didn't pass their final interviews got a chance to interview again the following day. And the course of the day and the spin, and there's the way we hold this. I had my interview on Tuesday. I did my very best. I felt like it went pretty good, but you never know, and you're in the front of this panel of people, and you just don't know what you don't know till you do. And so as the evening wore on and people were freaking out and varying degrees of choosing what to do with this information, they found out that the 2 that didn't pass their interviews had been interviewed by the same team. So then everybody was like, oh my gosh, it must just be a really hard team. Guess who else got interviewed by that team? So until that point, right, I'm thinking I did my best. I'm probably okay. I'm going to be... Holy moly, by Tuesday afternoon, I was a basket case. I'm waiting now because they interviewed on Monday and got their information on Tuesday. I'm thinking, well, I would have to re-interview on Wednesday, but that means I would have to know before I went to bed, but they're in another time zone, so it could be 8 o'clock at night. It could be, so this is what starts to happen, right? If we allow ourselves to go into that human spin of my well-being depends on whether I have passed this interview. Right? My well-being is dependent upon what's happening out there. That's really human of me. And it's time sometimes for us to realize and recognize there is a truth underneath of everything constantly going on. That whatever's happening out there, we get to choose. It can be for our best and highest. It can destroy us. It all depends on what we decide to do with it. I've said till I'm purple. When my husband died, it took me a while to refine my footing. But I did, and I went on and I have thrived. I'm so happy today, and I'm living a thriving life. And it doesn't mean everything's right and perfect. It means that I am embracing this life and every lesson it has to give me. I know someone whose husband died almost 30 years ago now who has not lived a day of life since. Can't wait till she gets to die so she can be with him. Choice, voice, we get to decide. So the spin is going on, and I finally thought, you know what? It's taken me this long. If this isn't it for me, this isn't it for me, and I'll find out someday what that reason is. So I'm just going to sit with what this feels like in the moment. I'm going to know I did my best because I did, guys. I gave it 100%. And I absolutely have given it 100% through the whole thing. And is it okay for us to realize and take in that if our 100% doesn't meet the bar, maybe that's okay? Maybe we're forcing ourselves into a path that we shouldn't even be walking. If we keep hearing from life, this ain't it, this ain't it, this ain't it, maybe it ain't it, right? So we always have a choice in how we look at the things that are happening. What life brings to us, we get to decide what happens to it through us. So as the day went on, we're all being supportive and meeting, and a lot of swirl was going on. And then the next day, they re-interviewed, and one of them heard at the end of that day that yes, they will go ahead and be ordained. The other one still hadn't heard, and by Thursday, when we all were getting our results, that person still hadn't heard Thursday afternoon, and we found out later. They're not going to be ordained with the rest of us, and they've got some work to do. So I have 2 people out of the 16 in my group that are not going to be ordained with us. They get to be there with us. They will be licensed, just not ordained yet. And one of them has said, you know what, this is a great opportunity for me to dig in and figure out where I can evolve and learn and grow. And one of them has said, I am going to fight this to the very end. Neither is right or wrong. Each of them have a choice as to what they do with what life is bringing. And we all know when you meet someone screaming in your face by screaming back in their face, the argument gets worse. It feels counterintuitive. We feel righteous and justified, and we want to grab our banner and go fight. And what you fight gains might. Can we see surrender as success? See, that's where my life has told me over and over and over and over again. Surrender for me every single time leads to success. People sometimes think surrender is a weak thing to do. Oh, I give up. Now, that's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying throw up your hands and be like, okay, forget, I'm powerless in this situation. I can't do anything. No. If that's where you're at, take yourself to the mirror and say, okay, little boy or little girl, let's put on our big boy or big girl panties and stand tall and say, oh, I have come to something that looks like failure. What do I do with this? And what does it do with me? I'm going to go with this. I'm going to flow with it. There's no mistake that I'm going to be like water, flowing, moving. Surrender is an empowering choice. My graduation this week, they asked us for our picture and our graduation quote. And I've been thinking about it for weeks and nothing has been coming to me. And yesterday, so Jim gave me this calendar that is a page-a-day calendar. And like this past week, one of the pages said, it may be that when we no longer know which way to go, we have come to our real journey. And I ripped that out. That was Thursdays. That was actually the day I got my results. And I thought, boy, that is juicy. How many times do we end up in life not knowing which way to turn? So the graduation quote was due, and I thought, I don't know. And I flipped through ahead in this calendar after I had pulled this, and I found one that's coming this week. And it says, surrender isn't a sacrifice of the known, but rather a celebration of the infinite. And I thought, there I am. That's me. That's what I want to be. That's how I want to live. When something comes up and it feels like it smacks me in the face, I want to be able to take a step back and go, wow, where is that bringing me? That just happened. Not, I did not. Not the tension and the balled up fist, but the, wow, this is happening. What do I want to do with it, and where do I want it to take me? So that's my quote, and that's by Nipun Mehta, who is, he's just an amazing person. I went and researched him after I found the quote. I would highly encourage you to look him up and look him over. Charles Fillmore, our co-founder, in the Revealing Word, which if you don't know what the Revealing Word is, let me educate you because I've just gone through 2 years of education. No. The Revealing Word is this book that kind of looks at metaphysical definitions of any word, candle, light, sky, ground, whatever. It has all these metaphysical interpretations of things. And one of those is ego. A lot of people make the ego the bad guy. The ego is not the bad guy. The ego is something that we can really make friends with in our lives, because if we didn't have an ego, we would never do anything that made us stand out at all. Your ego is this claim to say, this is me, and I'm different. I'm different than everybody else in this way, and I love myself for it. And Charles Fillmore said the ego is man. In other words, the sense consciousness of man. The ego is man, and by reason of his divinity, he makes and remakes as he wills. In this lie his greatest strength and his greatest weakness. See, whatever we're creating in our lives, however connected we are with the deeper truth underneath, that's what's in charge. That's what's driving. So things can be superficial or things can go deeper. And a lot of times when we will go deeper to find the truth underneath, it helps, it calms. I want to share something with you. When I was a kid, I was terrified of thunder. Terrified of it. I would, in the morning when we were getting ready for school, and my mom might not even know this, and she's sitting in this room, so this should be interesting. When we were getting ready for school, when I was in elementary school, they would have the news on in the background while they were getting ready. And I would be in my anxiety-riddled tiny little body listening to the weather report. And if I heard that it was going to rain that afternoon, or if there was a chance of thunderstorms, I would spend my entire morning practically vomiting in school because I was so afraid that I would end up having to walk home in the rain. I was terrified, terrified of thunder. Lightning, loved it. Beautiful. No problem. Now, lightning will kill you. Thunder terrified me. And so I got into this pattern where I figured out if I was sick enough in school, they would send me to the office and my parents would come get me. Smart, excuse me, ass little kid, wasn't I? Yes. So I had this figured out for a time. Now, I don't know how long this went on. In my brain, even today, standing here, it feels like it was a long time, but I can't see my father as having put up with this for very long. And so I would get sick, go to the clinic, they would come and pick me up, and then I would have a safe ride home, and I wouldn't have to go in the rain. Well, I think my father figured it out at some point, and one morning when I was getting ready to go, he said, "There are thunderstorms forecast for this afternoon, and you're walking home." And I was like, "I don't know what you're talking about, what's going on, what? Yeah, that. And he said, "Do not go to the clinic today. Even if you do, I don't care how sick they say you are walking home today." Ruined my day. My whole day I was a basket case, and the clouds rolled in, and the thunder rolled in, and before I left school, I heard, and I sat in my classroom, and I was terrified. And I thought I was going to die on my way home from school that day. And I walked home through the rain with my backpack on, and I got to my house, and my father was standing at the side open garage door with a towel, and he handed it to me. He took my backpack and he said, "Come on in." And I was crying and I was an absolute mess, but I walked home in a thunderstorm that day. And I was empowered. Hated my dad for it for a little while, but I was empowered. Fast forward many, many, many years, and I won't say that got me over my fear of thunder, but it did make me realize that there was beauty in the storm. I walked home and, I was the kind of kid that would stand in the rain and play in it because I loved it. It was awesome. I'm the kind of grown-up that will do that. I have taken both of my grandchildren when it was their time and the first thunderstorm came to run them out into the rain and dance in it with them, and loved every minute of it. And it took me until I was an adult science teacher with my own science company, bringing science to life for kids to learn what this is. And I found out when I started researching, because I didn't even learn it in school, it didn't land. But when I started researching for how to teach kids about letting that fear go, because I still wanted to help kids through that fear, what I learned was that lightning and thunder happen at the same time in a cloud. But light is really, really, really fast. And so when the lightning happens, pew, there it goes. And all of that rush of electricity in the cloud that heats the cloud to such a degree, when the lightning happens, it causes this crash. And when it's up in the cloud, it's a quick crash. When it moves through air, when sound waves move through the air, they expand and roll out and create that sound of thunder. And basically, thunder is a cloud passing gas. So I took this childhood paralyzing fear of mine when I was an adult, and I have taught thousands of children, thousands, since that thunder is a cloud passing gas. And I have heard from so many that they used to be terrified by it, and now they laugh every time they hear it. And my heart grew 10 times that day, right? What are we choosing? What are we allowing to paralyze us with fear and allowing us to believe that we don't have a choice? What are we seeing as coming at us that we must push back and fight at, that we are being invited to surrender into and say, wow, where is this going? I tried 5 different times to finish the path to ministry in my life. One of them, my daughter fell off a curb and shattered her leg. One of them, my late husband had quadruple bypass open heart surgery. There were other varieties of that theme, but every time I tried to step on, I got the no. Wasn't time. I've been a licensed Unity teacher and a certified spiritual educator for a long, long time. That's what allowed me to be here with you without the Rev title. Well, now I get to rev up, finally. And where in life are we being redirected? Where in life are we acting like we have no choice? Sometimes life meets you with a hard no. Where are we being invited to go, okay, is there a reason for that? Should I stop fighting that and maybe figure out where it's telling me I would be better off served going? Because every single day you get the choice to be new. Every single day you get the choice to be terrified by the thunder or to learn about what it really is. To disempower that sense consciousness thing that has you feeling powerless, to step into your power and to create the life of your dreams, because you can. Let's do it. And so it is. Amen.
Thank you for joining us today. Please visit www.unityofsebring.org for more information, to submit a prayer request, or to donate to our ministry. We hope to see you again very soon.